A 21-year-old boy racer's eyes widened with shock as he was jailed for 24 years, for crashing his Ford Mustang into a mother and toddler, killing both. On May 13, 2018, Cameron was racing two of his friends in Bayshore Boulevard. Herrin was driving his Ford Mustang at high speeds when he collided with Jessica Reisinger and Lilia. Late Jessica Reisinger was a 34-year-old mother and her toddler Lila was just a year old at the Herrin, from Tampa in Florida, looked stunned as he was led away to begin his sentence at a state prison, with his family breaking down into sobs. Herrin's parents bought the then 18-year-old the brand new car as a high school graduation present. Jessica and Lilia, who was in her stroller, were struck and killed while crossing a road. Cameron was driving at speeds of more than 100 miles per hour in the seconds before the crash, and is said to have been racing friend John Barino's Nissan at the time. Herrin was driving a Ford Mustang, while his friend, John Barino, was separately driving a gold Nissan. The two vehicles stopped next to each other at a traffic light that morning, then suddenly sped off alongside one another, appearing to be racing. Reisinger Raubenold, who was pushing her daughter in a stroller, prepared to cross the street along Gandy Boulevard when the two cars approached. The victims of the fatal car accident were taken to Tampa General Hospital. Shortly after their arrival, they were presumed dead. Analysis of the car's electronics showed that it had also been driven at 162 miles per hour shortly before the fatal crash, although it is unclear who was behind the wheel at that time. The Herrins spoke of their horror and anguish over the killings at their son's sentencing. All the victims' loved ones called for Herrin to be given the maximum 30-year prison sentence. Hillsborough Circuit Judge Christopher Nash ultimately opted for a slightly shorter term, and told Herrin, "It's impossible to have greater harm than occurred in this case." David Raubenold, widower and father to their baby girl, talked ahead of sentencing about the devastation he has experienced since the death of his wife and daughter. He mentioned that he saw traffic backed up on the day of the accident and began praying for a stranger, only to learn of his family's involvement. Herrin's friend driving the gold Nissan, John Barino, previously made a deal with the state in exchange for a 6-year prison sentence. Barino will also on probation for 15 years, required to complete 200 hours of community service, half of which will involve speaking about the dangers of reckless driving.